Have you ever wondered what the world was like before GPS, before you could just pull out your phone and know exactly where you are? For thousands of years, humanity looked to the sun, the stars, and landmarks to navigate. But what about on a cloudy day, or out on the open, featureless ocean? The answer to that puzzle would change the world forever, and it all began with a peculiar magnetic stone. Our story starts in ancient China, during the Han Dynasty, around the 2nd century BCE. The Chinese discovered a fascinating mineral called lodestone, a naturally magnetized iron ore. They noticed it had a strange property. When allowed to move freely, it would always align itself in a north-south direction. But its first use wasn't for finding your way home. It was used in geomancy and fortune-telling, a mystical tool for aligning buildings and predicting futures, believing it harmonized with the Earth's energy flows. The earliest forms of these devices were quite imaginative. One of the first was known as the south-pointing spoon. It was a spoon-shaped ladle carved from lodestone, placed on a smooth bronze plate marked with constellations and symbols. When the spoon was spun, the handle would always come to rest pointing south. It was a marvel, but still more of a curiosity and a ritual object than a practical navigation tool. It was big, clunky, and not exactly portable. Then came a more refined design, the south-pointing fish. Craftsmen would heat a small iron fish until it was red hot, and then let it cool while aligned north-south, magnetizing it. This little fish would then be floated in a bowl of water. No matter how you turned the bowl, the fish's head would always swing around to point south. This was a huge step forward. It was smaller, more sensitive, and perfect for land-based orientation. Imagine architects, builders, and even armies using this simple device to orient themselves and their projects with precision. For centuries, these early compasses were used primarily on land. But the real revolution was waiting to happen at sea. During China's Song dynasty, around the 11th century, sailors were venturing further than ever before. The risks were enormous. A single storm or a stretch of cloudy weather could mean getting hopelessly lost. They needed a reliable way to find their direction when the heavens were hidden. It was during this era that some brilliant unnamed mariner had the idea to take the south-pointing fish concept and adapt it for the high seas. They began using magnetized needles, either floated in water or suspended by a silk thread. This simple yet profound adaptation was the birth of the maritime compass. For the first time in history, sailors could confidently navigate the open ocean, far from the sight of land, regardless of the weather. This wasn't just an improvement. It was a complete game-changer that unlocked the world's oceans. While sailors were busy putting the compass to practical use, scholars were trying to understand how it worked. In 1088, the brilliant Chinese polymath Shen Kuo wrote about it in his book, Dream Pool Essays. He gave the first clear scientific description of a magnetic compass. He described how to magnetize a needle by rubbing it with lodestone, and noted that the needle did not point to true geographic south, but was always slightly off. He had discovered magnetic declination, the angle between magnetic north and true north, centuries before European scholars would grapple with the same concept. Shen Kuo's work was a monumental step from mystical tool to scientific instrument. Just a few decades later, another Chinese writer, Zhu Yu, gave us concrete proof of the compass's use at sea. In his book, Pingzhou Table Talks, written between 1111 and 1117, he described the practices of sailors in the port of Guangzhou. He wrote, "The ship's pilots are acquainted with the configuration of the coasts. At night they steer by the stars, and in the daytime by the sun. In dark weather, they look at the south-pointing needle." This wasn't a theory or a novelty. It was a standard piece of equipment for long-distance voyages. Chinese trade ships, equipped with the compass, were sailing all the way to the Persian Gulf and Africa, creating a sprawling maritime network. Like all great ideas, the compass couldn't be contained. Through the bustling trade routes of the Silk Road and maritime spice routes, knowledge of this incredible invention spread westward. By the 12th century, the compass had arrived in the Islamic world and Europe. The earliest European mention comes from Alexander Neckham in 1190. He described sailors using a magnetized needle to find their way when the stars were obscured. This new technology was eagerly adopted and adapted. Islamic and European inventors soon made a critical improvement. The wet compass, with its needle in a bowl of water, was fine, but it could be unstable on a rocking ship. Sometime in the 13th century, the dry compass was developed. This design featured a magnetized needle pivoted on a pin and enclosed in a box, often with a compass rose or windrose card attached to the needle itself. This made the compass far more stable, durable, and easier to read at a glance, turning it into the instrument we recognize today. This innovation was a collaborative effort, with evidence of its development in both Italy and the Arab world around the same time. The arrival and refinement of the compass in Europe set the stage for one of the most transformative periods in human history, the Age of Discovery. Before the compass, European sailors mostly stuck to coastal routes, a practice known as cabotage, always keeping land in sight. Venturing into the open Atlantic was considered suicide. The compass changed that. It gave explorers like Vasco da Gama, Christopher Columbus, and Ferdinand Magellan the courage and the means to sail into the unknown. It was the key that unlocked transoceanic voyages, allowing them to cross vast stretches of water and discover lands previously unknown to them. This newfound ability to navigate the globe had profound consequences. Reliable direction finding made long-distance trade routes safer and more profitable. European powers could establish and control vast colonial empires, connecting continents in a web of trade, conflict, and cultural exchange. The compass wasn't just a tool for finding direction, it was an instrument of power, a driver of globalization, and a catalyst for the creation of the modern world. From the spice trade to the colonization of the Americas, the humble magnetic needle was at the heart of it all. Today, we live in a world of GPS satellites and digital maps. The magnetic compass might seem like a relic of a bygone era, but its legacy is all around us. It remains a mandatory backup instrument on every ship and aircraft, a testament to its elegant simplicity and reliability. More than that, the compass stands as a powerful symbol of human ingenuity, our unyielding desire to explore, and the way a single, brilliant idea can fundamentally reshape our planet and our destiny. It reminds us that sometimes the most revolutionary tools are born from the simplest observations of the natural world. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through history. If you enjoyed learning about the incredible story of the compass, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the inventions that shaped our world. We'll see you in the next video.